and putting the point working session and putting all the points from all the devotees. So it was in progress actually. It was in the last minute. So I think we would implement this in the upcoming classes actually, so that I think all will be interactively participate in the session and learn from each other devotees. The backlogs, whatever every individual devotee has it actually. So I think this would work actually. I think that's good. But anyway, I feel today there may be hiccups in presenting stuff, but still, I think we would try to do our level of our best project.
Yeah, thank you. So we can start the presentations. The group number 1.
Yeah. I think give it to Pradeep Prabhu first, Prabhuji.
So, Prabhu, please take Prabhu. I need some water. Yeah,
I think still I think cosmetic changes are there actually, but
okay, then I'll take them.
Yeah, please.
Hare Krishna. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. Hope you're able to see my screen.
Yeah, we are able to see you. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So with this primarily this exercise is on the Bhagavad Gita slokas from 20 to 23. So if you see from sloka 20, so what exactly Krishna says here is like Prakriti means enjoyable and Purusha means the enjoyer. So, and if you see, right, only the Krishna is the enjoyer and Prakriti is the enjoyable. So basically, so Krishna is the male and then Prakriti is the female. So, but actually in this material world, what exactly we are doing is we are trying to become a supreme, and we want to enjoy everything here, and we are trying to become as a male, and we have to enjoy everyone there here in the material world. So which is wrong. So that's what this, if you see from the sloka 13.20, it concludes in this way. So next sloka, if we go. Okay, so here what exactly in sloka 21 Krishna says is like super soul and the individuality are different manifestation of Supreme Lord. So since both belongs to the same, I mean, since even though we are different, but we actually have the same qualities of Krishna, where we also thinks that okay, we have to enjoy. So that is where the spiritual has become as a rebellious to the Krishna, and he also wants to enjoy. So due to which Krishna has sent them to the this material world. So when we get into this material world, we are getting entangled into these three modes of material nature, which is Sattva, Raja, Tamo, Guna. So based on this entanglement, so we will be getting entangled in this repeated life and birth and death. So, and if you see one example where Prabhupada also has mentioned, I mean, okay, sorry, in this, yeah, the spiritual. Sorry, Prabhu, little bit confusion. Yeah, so when the spiritual getting into this material world, he has to take into this 84 lakh species, and this species is based on the previous previous karma, like so previous karma, and he has to experience this distress and happiness in this material world. So there was an example which Prabhupada was quoting. I was listening in one class. So some people may think that okay, Krishna is not equal to everyone, but because some are becoming as a rich, and some are taking birth as a human being, and some are taking birth as a low species like animals and all. But actually, it is not true, because let's say, for example, there was a person who did a murder, and he will be taken to the court, and the magistrate will give him a death sentence. So he is not partial here. Actually, the person is created a situation such that created a situation where he will be punished as a death sentence. So it's not a magistrate fault. So similarly, Krishna is equal to everyone. So because of this past karma, so one is getting into this different types of species in this material. The next sloka, Bhagavad Gita 13.22. So here also example what Krishna says is in this sloka, like everyone is trying to become a god, and he wants to grow. I mean, in the material way, like he wants to go as a big businessman, Jamindar, minister, president, and so he wants to keep becoming big. So he thinks that okay, this is way how he can enjoy in this material world. But actually, if you see, right, he is not required to stay in this material world, but he has decided to enjoy in this material, therefore he is here. He's here, so he has to change his conception that can be affected only by hearing from the authoritative sources. So one more example, which with respect to this, like how these three modes of material nature is affecting, like so if you multiply these three modes of material nature, three modes, it will become 9, and this 9 will become 81, and 81 becoming so on. So this is how that delusion get increases and increases, and this spirits, then the living entity will get entangled into this system, different types of material nature, different three modes of material nature. And in 13.23 sloka, God concludes how he wants this spirit, this living entity can go back to the Godhead. Like the Lord is always eager to take him to the spiritual energy, but due to his minute independence and individual entity, is continually rejecting the association of the spirit light. This misuse of independence is the cause of material strife in this conditioned nature. In the same way, by living entity, but the living entity has the tendency to reject the sanction of Supreme Lord and act independently in an attempt to dominate nature. And because he is the tendency, because he has this tendency, he is called the marginal energy of the Supreme Lord. And if you see the conclusion for all this, okay, so the solution is God only giving, like the Lord, therefore, he is always giving instruction from within and from without. From without, he gives instruction as stated in Bhagavad Gita, and from within, he tries to convince the living entity that his activities in the material field are not conducive to real happiness. Just give it up and turn your faith towards me, then you will be happy. He says, thus the intelligent person who places his faith in Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, begins to advance towards the bliss of eternal life of knowledge. So being situated as a Paramatma, he always remembers the Jiva that he is not belong to this material world, he belongs to the spiritual world. And one has to rise above the three modes of this material nature by taking the Krishna consciousness. So then only that living entity can go back to the Godhead, Golaka. Hare Krishna, bro. That's it. Some points, please,
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
You want to add something, Prahlad?
Yeah, Prabhu. I'm just sharing the screen and I'm going to read this, Prabhu.
No, so you are from group number 1 or 2?
2, Prabhu.
Okay, so before you present, we'll appreciate the group number 1 by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Thank you. And you provided the whole. Yes, Prahlad.
So somebody has to make me host, Prabhu, here.
I'll make it.
No.
You're co-host now. You can present.
Yeah, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. So the discussion about this Bhagavad Gita Shloka 13.22, 13.23, and Shloka wise we are going, Prabhu. So main points related to 13.20 is due to the rebellious nature of living entity, its condition within the material. So it is explained about the Krishna's expansion. This is in the 20th Shloka. It is explained a little bit about the Krishna's expansion. Unless until a material nature living entity understand and serve the Supreme Lord, so that he can so that the conditioned soul can reach the spiritual nature. And the next shloka is about 21st shloka. So actually a living entity is the main reason to get all the problems. So jiva is put into the different bodies, enjoying different kind of happiness and distress. Why means we are trying to control the nature. So we are not able to understand a real position of us. Our state is eternal, but we are forgetting that. We are actually pure. But in the material place, we are struggling hard for our livelihood. Because of living entities' desire, Lord is over material nature. He is in material nature. According to one's desire and activities, material nature places one in various residential quarters. The being himself is the cause of all his attain and such residential quarters, and his attendant enjoyment of suffering once placed in some particular kind of body, he comes under the control of nature, because the body begins matter acts according to the law of nature. So one more point here, Prabhu. So nature is said to the cause of all material causes and effects, but the living entity is the cause of various suffering and enjoyment in this world. So sloka number 22. Due to the living entity's desire to lord it over material nature, living entity is put into such undesirable circumstances. The living entity has a material desire since time immemorial. It is due to association with a different mode of nature. Due to his desire to lord it over material nature, he is put into such undesirable circumstances under the influence of material desire. The entity is born sometimes as a demigod, sometimes as a man, sometimes as a beast, as a bird, as a worm, as a aquatic, as a saintly man, as a bug. This is going on, and in all cases the living entity is think himself to be the master of his circumstances, yet he is under the influence of material nature. 23rd sloka. Acting independently, but the living entity has the tendency to reject this sanction of his supreme lord and act independently in an attempt to dominate nature, and because he has this tendency, he is called the marginal energy of the supreme lord. This misuse that independence is the cause of the material stiff in the conditions nature. Solution given by the Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. So one has to raise therefore above the three material nature become situated in the transcendental position, that is called Krishna consciousness. Unless one is situated in Krishna consciousness, this material consciousness will oblige him to transfer him one body to another, because he has material desire since time immemorial. But he has to change that conception. The chance of consciousness can be affected only by hearing from authoritative sources. The best example here is Arjuna is hearing the signs of God from Krishna. The living entity, if he submits to his hearing process, will lose his long cherished desire to dominate the material nature, and gradually and proportionately, as he reduces his long desire to dominate, he comes to enjoy the spiritual happiness. In a Vedic mantra, it is said that as he becomes learned in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he proportionately relish his eternal blissful life. The Supreme Lord is so kind upon the living entity. Paramatma is within us and instructing. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
We like to chant group number 2 also. Chanting once Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram.
Ram, 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 Rama, Hare Hare.
See, next time onwards, when we make PPT, it's always good to just write 1 or 2 points, not the like whole paragraph. So it becomes more like a reading session than a presentation session. And all of your software engineers, you must be knowing how you present in the company. Yeah, then we write one line or 1 point, 2 points, that's all. And then we elaborate on that. So that is always good. It's good to put or present PPT like that.
Actually, batch to Manjat Prabhu prepared the PPT Prabhu, and he want to go some emergency work, and then Prahlad Jivan took that service explanation.
Oh.
So So, Hare Krishna.
Okay. That's why he gave explanation in beginning, Manjunath.
Yes, bro.
Now understood the main reason. So we did the prayers. We already did the prayers. From which verse I was supposed to start?
Is 6, 7 completed, Prabhu. 8 supposed to start, I believe.
Okay.
8 we have to
So we'll start with 13.8. So already devotees went through. Okay. So verse number 8 to 12, that explains about Jnanam. So we learned about Prakriti, Purusha, Kshetra, and especially now we are going to learn about Jnanam. So the elements mentioned in this particular verses, they are different aspects of knowledge. Because knowledge is supposed to transform the character of a person and lead to certain good qualities. Or cultivation of certain good qualities also give knowledge. And that is why you find when certain qualities are lacking, certain aspects of knowledge are not understood. Like one of our devotees who was preaching in Rainbow Festival, he was telling the one famous question which he would always hear in this festival is, why should we wear clothes? Because only people who had no clothes were allowed in that festival. Is it so difficult to understand why should we wear clothes? So when somebody doesn't have a quality of shyness, then such qualities arise in the mind of people. So that is the qualities are always associated with certain aspects of knowledge. Like in Sanskrit also there is a verse called Vidya Dadati Vinaya. From knowledge comes humility. So in this way, each of the aspects of knowledge, they have a connection with qualities, and that's why these qualities are mentioned here in it people. Otherwise, people think, how is it knowledge? So, so that is the underlying principle. So I'll just read the verse now. Amanitvam adam bhitvam ahimsa chantirajava acharyopasanam saucham sthairam vinigraha indriyatesu vairagyam anahankara evacha janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanu darsanam asaktir anviswanga putra taragrahadisu nityam cha samchittatvam nishtopapattisu मयि चानन्य योगेन भक्तिर अवविचारिणी विविक्तदेश सेवित्वं हरतेर्जन संसदि अध्यात्म ज्ञान नित्यत्वं तत्व ज्ञानार्थ दर्शनम एतस् ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम अज्ञानम यत् अर्थो अन्यथा. Please read the translation.
Translation: humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with the children, wife, home, and the rest, even mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge. And I, besides this, whatever there may be, is ignorance. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
So these aspects of knowledge or the qualities, they are associated with mode of goodness. And we read about the qualities in chapter number 12. Those are the qualities of pure living entities. So they are qualities of a soul and they are qualities of a Vaishnava, which we read in chapter number 12. But to the degree we cultivate those qualities in chapter number 12, they make us dear to Krishna. But these qualities are also found in the demigods. And these are the results of mode of goodness. If a person cultivates mode of goodness, these qualities appear in that person. Or otherwise, if somebody cultivates these qualities, slowly he comes to mode of goodness. So both the things are there. They are associated with mode of goodness. So associated with Ch.13 and Ch.13, the body and the person who occupies the body, these 5 verses are there. So among them, 18 of them are common for the demigods. Demigods means basically demigods and the people in mode of goodness, and for the Gyanis, because Gyanis also cultivate these qualities. But 2 qualities are especially for the Gyanis. One is Adhyatma Gyan Nityattva and Gyan Tattva Gyanartha Darshan. These 2 qualities. So always dwelling on the knowledge of Tattva, trying to see the things according to that knowledge. Tattva Gyanartha Darshan. So these 2 qualities are especially sadhana for the Gyanis. But apart from them, all other qualities, they are common for the demigods, the Gyanis, and they also develop in the devotees as devotees progress in spiritual life, as they progress and they come to mode of goodness. So they automatically, or I would say gradually, they manifest in the devotee also. Yes, Sastri, Bhakti, Bhagavati, Akincana, Sarve Godes Tatra Samasita Sura. Harava Vaktaskuto Mahatgunan, Manorathena Siddhavata. So the practice of Akinchan Bhakti or pure devotion service, devotees get the qualities of the demigods. Sarve Godes Tatra Samasita Sura. But for those who are not devotees, Harava Vaktaskuto Manda. So for them, those qualities are not much meaningful because they are more on the level of mind. Level of the mind means what enjoys happiness and distress on the level of mind. So those qualities don't help one to come closer to Krishna. It's like when in the dream somebody becomes a rich, somebody becomes a poor person. How does it matter so much? So similarly, all those qualities, they help a person in pursuit of temporary happiness and distress, not in the eternal ones. So for devotees, they appear. For devotees, among all these qualities, the most important is Maicha Ananya Yogena Bhakti Ravicharini. So these are like a central quality for all the devotees. Maicha Ananya Yogena. Ananya. Ananya means worship of only Krishna, not of Durga, Kali, Shiva, all these people. Ananya also means not practicing karma, jnana, yoga, but only bhakti. So in this way, this Bhakti Ravicharini, practicing such a bhakti, that's the central element for a devotee. And other qualities gradually manifest automatically, or other qualities can be inculcated by devotees provided they help in progress of one's devotion service. And in general, they are helpful. And that is why devotees accept all such qualities. Because mode of goodness makes it easier to practice Krishna consciousness. So many of these qualities we'll find, they are part of Vaishnava etiquette. So all automatically in when we practice Vaishnava etiquette very strictly, these qualities are cultivated. Now we'll take some of them. Like amanittam. Amanittam means practicing humility. So whether we like, we don't like, we act humbly in front of devotees. So even if there are a lot of grudges against some devotees, that devotees have not given us prasad, we're asking for coupon and he is like, no, telling us to stand separately. So there may be a lot of anger inside, but generally we act humbly. So that is why we cultivate this quality of humility. So we'll take some of the qualities, not all of the qualities. So then there is so you can take maybe little bit out everything. Simply out pridelessness. There is one good definition of humility Prabhupada has given. Humility means that one should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. So if you see in the second paragraph, second line. So the exact definition of humility. One should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. Oh, somebody is respecting me, and then one feels very satisfied. So that expectation should not be there. Now honor may come. If it is there in somebody's quota, it will come. But one should not be very anxious to get it. Pridelessness means it's a little more higher. Generally, when people have things, they become proud of that. Oh, I have this, I have that, I'm very rich, this and that. So not having that is for pridelessness. Humility means not expecting respect. Humility is more connection with respect. And non-violence. So Prabhupada says, preaching is non-violence. Not preaching is violence. Because violence causes distress to other person. But in this material world, you don't have to cause any distress to the people because automatically people are in distress. So you don't have to give them distress. Already they're in distress. Like I read in one person T-shirt, it was written, please don't disturb me because already I'm very disturbed. So that's condition of people in this world. So you don't have to disturb them, they're automatically disturbed. But by preaching, you can bring them above disturbance. That's why when somebody doesn't preach, that's actual violence. And preaching is non-violence. So that non-violence. Tolerance. Already we had broad discussion on tolerance when we discussed this verse. Tam se Kristu Bharat. So that we discussed. So whether it's insult and this and that, no one doesn't. One tolerates, understanding that ultimately this is a result of my past life karma. It's just tolerance. And simplicity. Simplicity means no duplicity, no diplomacy. Whatever is inside, that is outside. And especially when one is simple with devotees and spiritual master, then one can get solution to one's problem. Otherwise, if you're complicated, we can't get solution to our problems. So that is how one should be simple and follow the instruction of the spiritual master. Approaching a bona fide spiritual master that we already know in order to get enlightened. And then cleanliness, saucham. So there are two types of cleanliness, internal and external. Externally, we clean ourselves through water and soap and etc. Internally, we clean ourselves through purifying the mind. Purifying the mind. Okay, simplicity. So, simplicity means no duplicity. Duplicity means speaking something and doing something else. That's called duplicity. That's duplicitous behavior. Like I am angry with you, I want to harm you, but on the face, I don't express my anger. I don't give you a hint and I'm going to harm you and still I harm you. So that's called duplicity. Simplicity means whatever is inside, whatever that is outside. You express that, no, Prabhuji, I am angry with you. Simple. And things that resolve. Or in front of sometimes devotees, what we do is sadhana is not going on nicely, we are not practicing properly. And we show as if, no, I am very good sadhaka. Like you must have seen the people whom we preach to, when they come near us, or they come around us, automatically our chanting becomes very good. Devotees sit straight, chant very deeply, as if they're totally absorbed in the holy name. And the devotees whom we are preached to, they feel, my God, Prabhuji is so absorbed in the holy name, such a pure devotee. So that's basically able to see. That doesn't mean we don't try. All the time we should try to chant nice.
In them, like in something goes wrong, also like we can convey the message in right way, Prabhu. Like instead of
Yeah.
hiding it, awesome. Sure.
Yes, yes.
Sure.
See, it's not that we have to express everything to everyone, but at least in front of the spiritual master and our superiors, we should be very truthful. But even in front of juniors, we can say, we can be little truthful. If somebody say, no, Prabhu, you're chanting so, you're so absorbed in chanting. You can express, no, I'm also struggling sadhaka, I'm also trying. Why to only show off that, no, I'm a very elevated person. So let us be truthful.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So cleanliness. So internal cleanliness comes by chanting of the holy names. So that's internal cleanliness. So swacham. And steadiness. Steadiness means year after year doing the same thing. It's like now we are chanting regularly, And self-control, control of mind and senses. That means we do what we plan. That's called self-control. Plan in the sense it should be plan in the positive direction. So however we have planned to serve the spiritual master, chant the holy names, read scriptures. So then we have to control our mind and senses. That's called self-control. Then renunciation of objects of sense gratification. So indriyarthesu vairagyam. So that means whatever is required for the progress of spiritual life, we accept it. And something which is detrimental, well, even if we like it, we give it up. So it's basically something is detrimental to the progress of Krishna consciousness. So for devotees, the simple criteria is anukula sankalpa, pratikula vardhana. Whatever is favorable for Krishna consciousness, we accept. Whatever is unfavorable, we give it up. Anahankara, absence of false ego. Now 100% absence of false ego happens when somebody comes to the level of Brahman. One realize I'm not body, I'm soul. But till that also there is a degree of absence of false ego. Some people strongly identify themselves with the body or their nation or state or language, and some people are not. And some people are so bodily conscious that even little bit inconvenience they can't tolerate. Like once one lady, she was in the airport. So airport authorities, they closed the suitcase. And somehow what happened is one of the nails which was overgrown. Many times ladies have a habit of overgrowing the nails. So that got stuck in between and that broke. She might have worked hard for maybe many months to grow it. She became so angry, she started using all foul language. And all the people around were like stuck. How can a lady use such a foul language? And the reason was that her nail was broken. And not the actual nail which has flesh, the extra one. So in Hindi, we say it's called nakhun. Nakhun means one which doesn't have blood. Nakhun, something which doesn't have blood. So something which is flesh and blood, that pains. Something which doesn't have blood doesn't pain. So actually speaking, there was no pain. But still, such a shout was there because such a false ego was there. I have this particular nail, such a long nail. So that is how false ego. To a degree of free from false ego, to the degree there will be lesser pain. Then comes Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Dosha. Observe constantly a detrimental effect of sorrow caused by birth, death, old age, and disease. So one needs that sort of intelligence to understand that we are suffering. Like many times it's devotees who say that we are suffering. Sometimes you tell outsiders, please read Bhagavad Gita, you are suffering like anything, you will be happy. And they look at your face and they say, it seems that you are suffering, we are not suffering. You are suffering because people are not taking your Bhagavad Gita. We are not suffering, we are so happy. Because one needs some level of intelligence and goodness to even understand that we are suffering. So understanding the miseries of birth, old age, disease, death is also an aspect of knowledge. And one should observe them constantly that we are suffering. Like many times, especially about birth, people don't know only. So one person, one particular company, mattress company. So they had put a big advertisement. This mattress is as comfortable as your mother's womb. And our devotees give them third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter number 31. See the comforts of baby in the child in the mother's womb. So that's the people not aware also. But despite being aware, many times we forget because we are not in mode of goodness. When in mode of goodness, we understand this what this place of misery. So this is also a aspect of knowledge. Then asaktir. So asakti means being without attachment. Too much of excessive attachment to one's family members and everyone. So some affection has to be there, but attachment should not be there. The difference between affection and attachment. Affection means I'm there to serve you, I'm there with you. So that's called affection. Attachment means I want to see you the way I want you to be. And many times what happens is parents want kids to do what they couldn't do. So it's said that father lives through his child, through his son, or mother lives through his daughter, or many times mother-in-law lives through his daughter-in-law. And then there is generation gap and there is a fight. Because mother-in-law wants her to wear the jewelry which she wanted to wear 20 years before. Now the fashion has changed. It is not the same. So then she doesn't like it and she has to wear it. She doesn't like it. So many times people want their children to do exactly what they wanted. Like once one father told to the son that when Nehru was of your age, he was monitor of the class. And then the son told to the father that when Nehru was of your age, he was Prime Minister of India. So many times parents want kids to do what they couldn't do. The point is, so affection is good, but not necessarily. And then anabhiswanga, that means lack of identification with the happiness and distress of sons and everyone. Putra darga grihadis, son, wife, etc. That means one should be ready to serve. See, there is a difference between serving dutifully and being excessively attached. When one is excessively attached, one cannot do the duties properly. So emotionally matured are the people who can see themselves separate from the emotions. Emotions are affecting us. But despite that, when we take decision in such a way that this will not be like carried away by the emotions. Then who can do such a thing? Only a person who doesn't identify himself with the mind can do. Otherwise, when we identify ourselves with the mind, we can't take good decisions. So the same way, Anvisandra. As to my identification with one's sons, wives, children, everyone. So this is also an aspect of knowledge. Person doesn't become irresponsible, but at the same time, he does think whatever is required, do the need. Nittam cha samchittatva. So samchittatva means remain calm in the face of adversities. So either they may be favorable or unfavorable. Like no, there may be favorable treatment by someone, unfavorable treatment by someone. One remains cool and calm. Why? Because whether it's favorable or unfavorable treatment by others, ultimately it will pass away with the in due course of time. So it goes away in due course of time. So that is why that is also aspect of knowledge. So then this is one of the constant unloved devotion to me, Bhakti Vicharini. So that's another aspect. So for devotees, especially those who are pure devotees, for them, Avavicharani Bhakti means only worship of Lord Shyam Sundar. And for Gyanis, it may be Gyan Misra Bhakti. For them, it won't be Ananda Yogena, but it would be that thinking only in terms of I am not body, I am soul. So for them, that would be Ananda Yogena. It's not like Ananda Bhakti. Ananda Bhakti is only for pure devotees. And Avavicharani, it should be done daily, not like weekly basis. Only on Janmashtami you become a Krishna devotee. Rathayatra you become Jagannath devotee. Durga Puja become Durga devotee. Kali Puja become Kali devotee. Ganesh Chaturthi become Ganesh devotee. Not like that. Worshipping only Krishna. Then Adhyatmika Amnitatvam. Adhyatmika Gyan means knowledge related to Atma. And constantly, Nitattva means constantly dwelling in the knowledge that I am not this body. So that's why sometimes Gyanis, they undergo a lot of tapasya and austerity to remind themselves that they are not this body. So summer time, they do Panchangani. 4 directions, they put fire. On top of head, they have a sun. And then they try to realize that the heat of fire which I am facing, it has nothing to do with me. Because I should not identify myself with the misery due to the heat. Similarly, they go to Gangoti, Yamunotri in the winter season and they break the ice and then they like, no, put the water, they have the chilling water up to their neck. And then they try to realize that the cold which I am feeling, I am separate from that. Because soul cannot feel cold or hot. So then that is how they try to do it. So very good. Tattva Jnanatha Darsana. That means one should always remember that one's goal is to get liberation. So it's especially for the Gyanis, these last 2 aspects. So that's my goal. I don't want to be entangled in this world. I want to get liberated. So these elements are common means for Gyanis, yogis, devotees, or for anyone who wants to get knowledge of Jiva and Karma. Okay. So that is all. And then somebody does opposite, That's called ignorance. That means rather than having a lack of pride, one cultivates pride. So that is called ignorance. So Krishna says something. So that means ultimate goal of Gyan is to cultivate qualities, not just to make money. Making money is just one aspect of knowledge. So now suddenly in corporate companies also, corporate world also, they now talk about cultivating leadership qualities or service attitude. So they will talk about it because they think it will help one to earn money.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. We couldn't hear, Prabhu.
Looks like we have lost connection.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So got disconnected because of internet problem. So yeah. So till where did you hear your point?
You are telling about Adhyatmic Jnana Nityatvam. Adhyatmic Jnana Nityatvam. You are describing.
Okay. So Adhyatmic Jnana Nityatvam is always dwelling on the knowledge or dwelling on the goal that I have to get moksha. Just Adhyatmic Jnana Nityatvam. So all these 20 elements of knowledge, whether somebody is karmi, jnani, yogi, or anyone, that helps one to attain the knowledge of jiva and paramatma. And that's the ultimate goal of knowledge, as you were discussing there. And the goal of knowledge is not just to earn money, but to get all these qualities, or develop all these qualities. And somebody cultivates opposite qualities, then that's called ignorance. That means somebody is becoming proud of his knowledge, then one is not moving in direction of knowledge, one is moving opposite direction of knowledge, one is moving towards ignorance. So the proof that a person is becoming knowledgeable is that one automatically becomes humble. Vidyam dadati vinyam. But to the degree one realizes the greatness of Krishna, to the degree one automatically becomes humble. Because Lord is so great, we are insignificant in front of Lord. Like person may think I am very big in size when he is on the ground. But as soon as you go near to a mountain, you realize I am so small. Similarly, when automatically one realizes the greatness of the Lord, one becomes humble. So all these aspects of knowledge, they lead to qualities, or these aspects of knowledge, they are connected to qualities, and they develop when a person comes in motives. Okay. Now Lord starts talking about Ch.13. Ch.13 means one who knows about Chitra. So this verse 13 will talk about Ch.13, the soul. Next verse will talk about Ch.13, the super soul. But this verse can also be taken in different ways. So we'll take both the ways. Okay. So then maybe we'll take it next class. We can take this question. Yes, Susra Arjun.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
So, like the qualities you mentioned here is for jnanis and demigods, but whatever is mentioned in chapter 12 is for devotees. But if we see, almost they are same, no, Prabhu, like free from false ego and equipoised in happiness and distress. So, but what is the difference, Prabhu? Like here they will not relate with the Lord, or how it differs, Prabhu?
Yeah. So these qualities can be there in the jnanis or anyone who wants to get knowledge of soul and super soul. That may be Gyan Yogi, Karma Yogi, Ashtang Yogi, or a devotee. So all these can be visible in them. But there, if you see those qualities, they had one aspect which was very strong, which is absent here. That is Yome Bhakta Samipriya. When these qualities are present in a devotee, then Lord says that that devotee becomes very dear to me. That means one cultivates those qualities with a motive to please Krishna. So the motivation is lacking here. But you will find not everything is same. Like I told this, even this quality of Mai Chahiye Ananya Yogena Bhakti Vicharani, it has different meaning for Gyanis and devotees. So for devotees, it's unallowed devotion service. And for Gyanis, it's Mai Cha Bhakti Yogena, Ananya Yogena. So Bhakti is separate or Ananya Yogena is separate. So for Gyanis, Ananya Yogena would mean always realizing that I'm not body, I'm soul. So meaning is different. So these are qualities of mode of goodness, those are the qualities of soul. That's the difference. That's quality of a devotee. That's the difference. So they all are meant to be cultivated by a devotee who wants to please Krishna. So the motivation is there. Okay.
Yes, sir. But we always hear that without practicing devotional service, it is not easy to develop these qualities, means without chanting or jnanis, they...
See, what is of Gyan is you'll find people in the mode of goodness have these qualities. Like, have you not seen that sometimes outsiders may exhibit certain good qualities even more than devotees?
Yes.
Because devotees many times they are like struggling sadhakas, they may be more covered with passion and ignorance than the outsiders. But outsiders, just because they are not devotees, the passion and ignorance will increase. For devotees, they are developing mode of goodness. So we are going more closer to mode of goodness, they are going away from mode of goodness. Percentage of goodness, they may be more, but they might have practiced some sort of goodness in the past life or in the this life. Santosh?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. That has been Prabhuji, the doubt is that in the purport, the tolerance part, Prabhupada mentioning that if one is engaged in the advancement of spiritual knowledge, there will be so many insults and much dishonor from others. You heard, Prabhu?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So in that case, like generally for the beginners, like who comes to path of spiritual life, and when they want to look for the spiritual master who are present now in the website, or like basically from the Ritvik people, they put so many thoughts, so many unwanted wrong things. So that loses that particular devotee who comes to Krishna consciousness newly, he loses faith. They are dishonoring that such many spiritual masters who are present now. So how can that particular devotee again come out from that dishonor, or again increase the faith on the Prabhupada disciples? And another way, and the second part is that like among the devotees itself, like the way we dishonor, like the way of preaching, conducting the things, this is not right, this is not good. So how can that particular devotee can understand this, Prabhuji? How can
So
increase his faith on the spiritual masters, and how can continue his spiritual life also, Prabhu? What's the solution for that, Prabhu?
solution is become mature. Become matured by associating with people who are experienced. Because maturity has no alternative. So in due course of time we understand. It's like we may be hurt that this particular person is blaspheming the spiritual master. We can do something, we should do. Some things are beyond us, we can't do. You can do it. And also if faith is lost, then hear the reality from other people on whom you have faith. Like you may lose your faith on spiritual master, that there may be people whom you are close to and on them you have faith. So faith should not be blind, but at the same time when we see and examine carefully, we understand that there are some people who are genuine, some people are not genuine. Like before joining Brahmacharya Ashram, for many years I did observe that Brahmacharis whom I was going to associate with very closely. Okay, really are they really people of God? They're really free from sinful life. So I want to observe many times very keenly. So after that I got faith. So at least these people have faith. And when I see them, these people have faith on someone whom they are following. So then that gives me conviction that okay, these people, whatever they're speaking must be right. And if these people can be pure, why can't a spiritual master be pure? Simple. Makes sense. So India, also already beyond 9.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की
Jai.
गोपाल की
Jai.
एक और प्रेमानंद